Hi everyone, I'm Suzanne. Thank you for joining me. In today's video, I'm going to share with you some curriculum changes that I have made for our upcoming school year 2022 to 2023. If you're new to the channel, we're a homeschooling family of 3 and we are entering our 5th year of homeschooling and our daughter is going into the 4th grade. For those of you who are familiar with this channel, you may have seen our curriculum choices video, and I made that a couple months ago in the spring. And I did make a couple changes. One is I added a piece of curriculum that I'm really excited about. And another one is I actually changed something that I had planned on doing for the upcoming school year, geography in particular. So first I'm going to share with you what I've added. I've added in A Year in the 100-Acre Wood. And this is a gentle learning based on the classic stories of Winnie the Pooh. And this is by Lisa Wilkinson. And you can check out her channel. I'll leave a link down below. She does a few different year-long studies and they're absolutely gorgeous. She has one for Slow Down that I have my eye on. But I've been looking at this for at least a year and I felt like I might have missed my window because it was Winnie the Pooh. And it seemed like some of the activities that I was seeing other people mention just seemed a little too young, I thought maybe for Vivian. But upon closer look, I've decided that no, and she was really excited about the idea of doing this year. She doesn't think she's too young for Winnie the Pooh. And so we've decided to do it in this upcoming school year and I'm very excited. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's a 30-week study and there's lots of activities. She had a book list. If you saw my last book haul, you would have saw some of the books that I purchased to go along with this study in that haul. And I have some more books coming for it. And it's just really lovely. And I'm going to do an in-depth review of this for you guys and to share this with you. Oh, it's so beautiful. I think what I'm going to do, I still haven't finalized all my scheduling, but my intention is to have this as a piece of our morning basket. And we do have a magical year this year. Our theme is Harry Potter. So we're doing lots of magical studies and experiments and projects and a book reading. I thought this was a nice counterbalance to that in a way. It's just really cozy and I mean, Harry Potter for us is cozy anyway as well. Just adding in Winnie the Pooh and the slowness and, you know, the focus that comes along with this study into our day and just starting our day off with that type of energy was very appealing to me. This is a 30-week study. I don't know if I said that in the video yet, but it's 30 weeks. So definitely going to plan out making that a gentle part of each day. And I'm really looking forward to that. Now, what I did change this year was geography. Now, I said in my initial video that I made in the spring that we will be using Guest Hollow's junior geography. And I love the idea of this. They're studying a whole year and it's literature based, which I wanted to do way more literature based in this upcoming school year. I'm doing Guest Hollow's grammar and language arts program. But when I started to look at this in more detail and I realized the amount of reading we would have to do on a daily basis to cover everything in this school year, I just felt overwhelmed. It didn't feel realistic to me, not when we're doing so much reading with our language arts as well as our Harry Potter. And yeah, it was too much. And I am trying to be a bit more realistic this school year. We still have tons on our plate, but I definitely knew and acknowledged and recognized that I needed to take something off. So I took this out for the year, but I've been using it as a resource already. I found sites I didn't know of because of this. I'm part of a Facebook group. They're really active, so I get lots of suggestions in there. Very grateful. There's books that we're going to use for our upcoming school year because we're still doing geography. What I've decided to do instead for this year of geography is I asked my daughter what she wanted to study for countries. If you've been following me for a while, you know I focused heavily last year on Latin America and I feel really good about that and I would like to continue studying in that way. So when I say in that way, we used a lot of different resources and we combined cultural studies, geography, and social studies kind of all in one. And I really love studying different countries that way. So I would certainly like to hit on a lot of the countries around the world before my daughter's schooling is finished, but I don't want to do it in a year. And I just felt like that was a bit much for us. So what we've decided to do, and what my daughter chose, she said she would like to do Greece. And the reason she would like to study Greece is because we've done so much with Greek mythology. So that we're going to start out with Greece this year, and we're just going to pull a bunch of different resources. There's not going to be anything necessarily formal with that. I'll get her to do the same type of sheets that she did last year for Latin America, where she learned about, you know, the flags, the flag of the country, the capital of the country, the plants, the animals, that sort of thing, the favorite foods, their music. Because it's Greece and Vivian is obviously familiar with Greek mythology, and we will be doing ancient civilizations this upcoming school year too, I think I'm going to pull in a little more history for Greece than I usually do when we study our world studies. So that's how we're going to start off the year. And then the other continent that she wanted to do was Africa. So we're definitely doing Africa. But before we jump into Africa, I wanted to do Canada. Now, we're not doing a full Canadian study for this, but we are going to do geography for sure and do some map work. Now, I have tons of resources about a couple years ago to do a huge Canadian study and history study and everything with Vivian that would cover a year for sure. And we're not going to do that this year, but I still wanted to introduce some Canadian study. And I had picked this up at a thrift store actually, so it's perfect. And this is by Donna Ward, and this is Geography Province to Province. So one of the things that I did last year with Vivian is we did map drills every day. And so I would add a country to her list of countries that she already knew. For example, we studied South America. I started off with Colombia. Once she memorized where Colombia was on the map, then we added Venezuela and so forth. So Vivian now has memorized all the Central American countries and South American countries, and she can label those on the map as well as Mexico from North America. And we will move on to Canada this year, and I wanted to do the same for Canada because we haven't done that yet. And as many of you know, we are from Canada, so I think this is really important. And we do have to have a Canadian study element for homeschooling, and I want to jump on that this coming school year. So this is just perfect, absolutely perfect, and I'll show you what's involved. So they do the geography, and Donna Ward is well known for her resources, and yeah, I just think this is perfect. And we'll do this till we finish. All right, for example, here's British Columbia. And it gives some of the basic information for each province. And she can color it in, she can fill in information, which we were doing in our own little notebook that I created. But she can do it in this book because we have it. Or we might do the sheets yet, I'm not sure. It depends on what she wants to do. If she's really excited to do a workbook, I'll let her. I really love the idea of doing the same format for all the countries, and then I can keep that as a keepsake for her, but we'll see. Anyway, yeah, I think that's a great idea. I'm really happy I found this, and we'll do a much more in-depth Canadian study in the future. But this introduces all the provinces now to Vivian, so then she'll be aware of our own country, which is really important, obviously. So we'll do that next. And then we will jump into our Africa study, which is what she asked to do, and I'm really excited. I picked up a couple things to do our Africa study. And the first one is I ordered Africa, A Land of Hope. This is another workbook by Donna Ward. I will say the difference between this Africa, A Land of Hope and Donna Ward's Geography Province to Province is I would say this is secular. For the most part, I haven't noticed anything to say otherwise. Maybe if you know better, you can let me know if I get into it. But this is obviously non-secular. So she got together with Compassion, this organization, and they're raising money. The goal of this particular resource was to raise money to get you to send money over to certain parts in Africa. So yeah, transform the life of a child, and here's a sponsorship form. So it's really the goal of this particular piece of curriculum. I did not realize that when I ordered it. I'm still going to use that. Vivian is of an age that certain references, we can definitely have the conversation. about that if it's necessary. I'm going to continue with my plan to use this, but I do want to say that because I know there's a lot of people that follow me that are secular, like our family, and this is definitely not secular. So we're going to continue. I feel comfortable using this, and it's definitely a way to introduce different countries in Africa, and it has a little bit of a different take on the other book that I picked up, or the other piece of curriculum. So I also purchased Amazing Africa Heritage Pack, and this is by Amber O'Neill Johnston. Now, she says this goes up to grade 3. My daughter's starting grade 4, but I'm totally fine with that. We can definitely work with this, and the way that we do our studies and world studies, it totally is flexible, and we just add everything that we want to add to this. So what Amber has done, and I've seen really great flip-throughs of this on YouTube, which is what helped me make the decision, is she's using a lot of picture books, and she's done, I forget, so this is laid out in, her lesson plans have laid it out to 33 weeks or 36 weeks. So she visits 19 countries in this resource. And I just feel like I have enough countries between this and this one to definitely give a feel for Africa. I mean, there's like, I think there's like, was it 54 countries at last count? 54 countries in Africa. And yeah, we can't do all those countries, but I definitely want to get a sense of the land, and I want to do north, east, south, and west. That's kind of the approach I'm going to be taking for Africa, and I'm going to use these resources to help me do that. We also have books that we've ordered from Amber's book list that will help as well, and we have some books at the library available to us. I did buy an additional piece of curriculum, and this is from one of my favorite shops that I've discovered in the last 6 months. This is by Hearth Magic. Do you say Hearth or Hearth? I'm going to say Hearth Magic. And this is an introduction to African folk tales. And, you know, and it's absolutely beautiful. I just printed off the cover so that I would have this to show you. And when I'm done here, I'm actually going to go print off the rest because I just want it all finished, even though we're not probably going to do this till after Christmas. I'd like it completed and in the folder, ready to go. Yeah, anyway, it's beautiful, and I love the idea. We try to do that anyway. I always try to include legends or folktales from an area that we're studying. I absolutely love that. It's part of my world studies anyway. So she has done a lot of that work, obviously, already. So I was taking full advantage of that, and I always love how beautiful her pieces of curriculum are, and her book guides, that sort of thing. And she always has a lot of beautiful artwork and beautiful handcrafts that you can do with your kids. So yeah, really excited for the Africa study, and my daughter is too. So I'm glad that she picked that, and that's something that she wanted to do this year, and I'm going to make that happen. I did look at and consider getting the Africa Unit Study by Gather Round Homeschool. I mean, it's absolutely, the artwork is gorgeous. So every time I see anyone talking about Gather Round, or I see pictures of it on Instagram or something like that, I'm always drooling because the artwork is so beautiful. I've heard mixed reviews about the curriculum, and I debated for quite a while. I almost purchased it for the Africa study. Now, this is definitely not secular in any way, but you can leave things out so that, you know, I could work with it, I believe, but I just want to note, definitely not secular. And it has early elementary, upper elementary, so there's just a lot of work has gone into these studies. The reason that I didn't purchase it is because it was mentioned that it covered all subject areas except for math. And I wasn't sure if that was just turning out to be kind of what we do as well for our world studies, that it ends up, I could probably say that when we do our world studies, it covers all subjects besides math as well. But I wasn't sure if it would just be too much work. I'll just say it. Was it too much if it covered all those subject areas to add into what we were already doing? Now, if you've done the Africa study, I'd love to hear any input that you have down below, because I didn't want to end up having so much curriculum and so many books referenced that the whole study became overwhelming and not fun. So if you have any input, I would be grateful for it. Please leave it in the comments below. If you have experience doing the Gather Round unit studies, particularly the Africa one, I would love to know. Those are all the major curriculum changes that I plan on making this year. I've added a couple things to our plate for the year, and if you saw my last book haul, or when I shared all the books for our upcoming curriculum, then you would have seen this book. This is Musicals, a Definitive Illustrated Story. That's another thing we're implementing in our home this year. Not necessarily curriculum per se. It won't be part of our school week. We're going to have a Saturday night family movie nights, and we're going to watch and learn a little bit about one musical a week for the school year, which I think will be a lot of fun. And my daughter's excited for that as well. The only other thing that I have coming in terms of curriculum that I will be adding in, it has to do with music. And I ordered a DK, I'll put a picture here. It's a DK book about the history of music. And it's for children, and I couldn't find it new. I bought it used, so it hasn't come yet. Hopefully that will be here in the next week or two. And that's something else I'm going to figure out how to implement in our school year. I really want music to be a major part of our home this year. My daughter is a huge music fan, and we've made this a priority in the upcoming year. So like I've said in the past, my daughter's taken piano since she was 5. She will continue with her piano lessons this year. And she will also be starting singing lessons this year. So she has a full plate of music coming, and I just want to support that in any way possible. And I think just learning about music, making sure it's playing in our house, and giving her some background information, it just really just want to add to her knowledge base for the future. And I figure adding a little bit of new information on a weekly basis is very helpful. But making it a conscious decision to do so, and then putting it in the schedule so that I remember to actually be consistent with that, is really important, because I have a lot of great ideas. But if it isn't in the schedule, it isn't part of my weekly routine, then I find weeks go by and I haven't done it. And I say, oh, I wish I had have. And I really don't want that to happen this year. So I'm saying it to you, and I'm going to put it in our schedule, as you'll see with upcoming scheduling videos and planning videos. So that is all I'm going to say about that. I'm just going to note this quickly. I also want to do Spanish. I said we were going to do Spanish last year, and it didn't happen, which is, I say it like that because we did a Latin American study. It would have been perfect timing. I really wanted those to kind of go together, but it didn't happen. I'm hoping to put it in this year. I'm still figuring out how to do that because I have to look at the scheduling. It feels really full. And I just need to figure out how to do that in a way that feels good. All right, that's everything I'm going to share in this video. If you like this video, please hit like. If you'd like to see more like it, definitely hit subscribe. And I will see you soon with another video.